93. That's how many more teams we have on this map to get through. We're going to get through hopefully 10, 11, 12 today in part 5 of the series. If you haven't watched the first 3 parts of College Football Imperialism for 4, go back and watch those. It'll get you all caught up. But for now, we're going to spin the wheel to select our first team. We're going to start out with Hawaii again. Okay. Hawaii has played one game. They beat UTEP. I still have their logo down here. Still pretty small. We are playing them as they are placed on the map. Where is this arrow going to point? Is that going to be Arizona or USC? I think it's going to be Arizona. So we'll have Hawaii play at Arizona in our very first game of this episode. Arizona, we've seen them play a lot. They're an 87 overall. Hawaii, like I said, only one time. But they did play pretty well. I did adjust my game settings, so now I don't have to go in and adjust from 5 to 6 minutes every game.
For decades, if things get a little tough around Tucson, only 2 words are necessary.
Arizona's got a very sizable territory already. They took down BYU and Utah. Close game in the first quarter. Arizona only leads by 3. Still a close game. The Wildcats do finally score a touchdown. Hawaii keeping it close. 10-point game once again. Now Arizona has kind of broken it open. 31-7, 34-7. Arizona able to get out of this one by only giving up 1 score. 34-7 final. They're actually playing really well in simulation. They're beating a lot of real good teams. Sadly, the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors are out. Have to go through all these little islands here. Turn them blue. And this area of El Paso. That's weird. That's really weird. I'll adjust their logo just a little bit. Try to reflect some of that. Good win for the Wildcats in game 1. Hawaii's off the wheel and off the map. Next we have New Mexico. New Mexico haven't played a game yet. There are a couple of different teams they could go after. They're going to head southeast, and that's going to take them to Lubbock, where they'll play Texas Tech, who's already won 1 game. It might have been 2 games. It's been a good while since they've played. What's going on here? There we go. Texas Tech and New Mexico. New Mexico's pretty bad. They're a 73 overall. Texas Tech's an 85 overall. So we'll see how this one goes. Let me make sure all my audio and stuff is still working. Yeah, we should be good. Just don't want to go through this whole episode and have my audio break. I've had that happen before. Not in this series, but in other videos. Here we go. New Mexico takes an early 7-0 lead. Tech does tie it up. New Mexico, another 7-point lead. And now they lead by 14. Tech scores just before halftime to cut the lead to 7. But New Mexico leads by 10. Now they've extended it to 13. And oh my goodness, the Lobos just went to Lubbock and beat Texas Tech 30 to 14. Wow. How did that happen?
I don't have to do things special every single week. All I'm supposed to do is get the W, and that's what they did.
And this is why
That might be our
practice is
biggest
so
upset so
important, guys.
far.
You can tell that this team was locked in way
Wow.
earlier in the week. They watched the film. They got good looks in
Let's see some of these stats. Who had all the turn? I assume there are a bunch of turnovers.
And when those looks presented themselves, boy, oh boy,
Texas Tech had 1 turnover.
That's going to do it for us from here for Jesse Palmer, David Pollack,
And that wouldn't have been the
This has been
difference.
another presentation of EA Sports
And they threw a
College
pick.
Football.
Wow. Biggest upset so far. Might need to go around and readjust these borders down in the Texas area. I'll pause this. I'll go over those borders real quick. All right, this is what the map is looking like now. Went around a couple different places, touched some things up, just to make it look a little bit better. If I don't do that, the lines will get too thin because I'm auto-filling them, and it'll become a mess later on. So I try to do it as I go. Anyway, New Mexico with a massive upset there over Texas Tech. Did not expect that. It's kind of what this whole thing's about, really. How long can the smaller schools go? We will not have a small school play in this next game. We've got Oregon State. They haven't played a game yet. And the only team around them that has is Oregon to the south, who they will actually go ahead and just play. So we'll get the Civil War game. It's the name of the rivalry between Oregon and Oregon State. Oregon will be the home team because they are defending. It doesn't call it the Civil War in this game. I'm pretty sure it's called Civil War. Oregon's a 93 overall. Oregon State's a 79 overall. This is the second game Oregon's played in. They beat Cal in a incredibly offensive game. Oregon will start off with a 7-point lead, but OSU will tie it up. 7 each. Now Oregon with another touchdown. Oregon State responds with a field goal. 21-18, 28-18 at the end of the third. 35-18. Now Oregon's really putting it on them. 42-26. I believe that's the final score here. Yep. This Oregon team's really good. They are really good.
For a very, very long time.
They have taken down their rivals to the north and further expanded their territory. Now also claimed their entire home state. Solid win for them. I do like to root for Oregon State occasionally, though. We got 90 teams left. New Mexico once again. Who will they play? They're going to go south. I try to go from their logo, and I try to center their logos up They will play a Texas team. Will it be Baylor or TCU? Oh, that's close. That's really close. I think it's going to be TCU. So we'll have New Mexico at Texas Christian. Their second road game, their second game against a team from Texas. TCU is an 80 overall, New Mexico a 73 overall. Can they pull off another upset? We'll see.
Welcome to Fort Worth, Texas, and Amon G. Carter Stadium, home of the TCU Horned Frogs. We've got a sensational matchup for you.
I've been to the
Amon
G. Carter Stadium. It's pretty nice, actually. I just kind of walked in, got some pictures. Pretty cool. Oh, I wonder if they have the college football playoff banner in this game. That would be funny. TCU has a commemorative "We made the CFP" banner. I think it might not be a banner. It might be paint or something. New Mexico has kicked 3 field goals. It's given them a lead. Now TCU's responded with a touchdown. Back and forth game. New Mexico leads now by 3 points. We're in the 4th quarter. TCU ties it up. New Mexico takes a late lead. And they hang on for another upset victory. 27-24. On the road again. Wow. Knocking out these Big 12 teams like they're nothing. Although that was a pretty close game. 27-24 win. Very impressive. Well, eliminate one more gray team off the board with TCU. Pretty funky looking territory for the Lobos right now. They've got Texas Tech, TCU, Texas State, and Texas's territory. As well as their own, of course. And I'd say they'd be a favorite to win in most of the games. Which teams could play them from? What am I saying? I don't know. New Mexico stays on the board again. TCU has been eliminated. Next we'll have UNLV play. They have not played a game yet. They could play Arizona, their rivals to the north, or a couple Cali teams. They will play one of those Cali teams. I think it'll be Fresno. If I go from the logo, yeah, they're going to head west and play Fresno State. Interesting. We'll have some Mountain West Conference action. I kind of want to rebuild Fresno State, but they've been pretty dang good recently. But they just feel like a fun team to rebuild. They have a cool stadium, as we'll see in a minute. They have some cool jersey combos. They're in California, but they're not a... Well, I don't know, aren't they an ag school, an agriculture school? I don't know. They just seem like a cool team to rebuild. If you want to, well, no. I'll wait till after this. UNLV takes an early 7-0 lead, but Fresno ties it up at the end of the first, 7-all. UNLV with a field goal to take the lead at halftime, 10-7. Fresno, after halftime, goes out and scores 2 touchdowns to take a lead. Now UNLV responded. Fresno, another touchdown to take a 4-point lead. And they do walk away with the victory at home. 28-24. Bulldogs win in this Mountain West matchup. They'll take over the entirety of Southern Nevada. Central Southern Nevada. A bunch of games out here on the West Coast to start this video. I mentioned Fresno State would be a cool team to do a rebuild with. If you'd like to help decide how I do my first College Football 25 Dynasty here on YouTube, you can go over to my channel page and then over to my community tab. And I have a couple polls there which you can vote in and help decide which team I do a dynasty with first here. Anyway, on to the next game. UNLV off the wheel, couldn't make it out of game 1. Next, we will see Auburn play. Auburn has not played a game yet. There are a bunch of different pretty solid teams that could play around them. They are going to opt for the easier game against, will it be Georgia State or Troy? Wow, this is tough. It's almost that exact intersection. Let's go ahead and say Georgia State. We'll have Auburn play on the road, going to Atlanta to face off against the Georgia State Panthers. Georgia State is a 73 overall in this game. And Auburn, my guess, is an 84. I haven't seen their rating yet. They're an 85. Okay. Heavy favorites on the road. Oh, I'd like to see how they rendered in the baseball stadium. Georgia State plays in a baseball stadium. I believe it's where the Atlanta Braves used to play.
Welcome to Atlanta, Georgia, site of the 1996 Olympic Games, Center Park Stadium, and home to the Georgia State Panthers, and we have been feeling the excitement for this one all week. What an exciting matchup we have in store for you this afternoon, built around the pageantry, tradition, and everything that makes college football great. As we'll see a squad from the SEC, the Auburn Tigers, taking on a team from the Sun Belt, the Georgia State Panthers. Glad to have you with us for EA Sports College Football. I'm Reese Davis, David Pollack, and Jesse Palmer with me in the booth. Guys, we are ready to...
Okay. It does look pretty good, actually. I would hate for this to be my home stadium, but they made it look solid. Auburn, pretty good lead here. Georgia State actually cuts it to 8 points. 21-13 is the score. Auburn leads at halftime. Would Georgia State be able to make a comeback? It looks like Auburn's put some final touches on this, up by 11, and that's how they're going to end it. 31-20. A bit of a closer game than I expected. But nonetheless, a win for the Auburn Tigers in their first game. Peyton Thorne leading them out there for that victory. Auburn will be the first team to win a game from the state of Alabama. I believe we had Tennessee play Jacksonville State, or maybe it was Middle Tennessee. It didn't fare so well. As you see, that territory has been absorbed by the Volunteers. That was Georgia State. Good old Panthers. Nothing wrong with the Panthers. Next up, we've got Florida. Yes, no, it would be Florida International. FIU from Miami metro area. Maybe Miami proper, I don't know. They're down here. They could play Florida Atlantic or Miami. The arrow will lead them north to play FAU, who took down South Florida in the previous game. FIU will be host to, or FAU will be host to FIU. The Panthers are a 77 overall. Wow. So are the Owls, really? This used to be a Conference USA matchup, but now FAU's moved on to the American Conference. It's called the Shula Bowl, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm sure that name has some history to it.
Spectacular ocean views not far away from the home of the Florida Atlantic Owls, FAU Stadium in Boca Raton, Florida, where they hope this
Good old
game
Boca
lives up
Raton.
to the setting.
I had a history teacher from Boca Raton. FAU completely dominating right now, up 24-0. They are putting it on them. Gee whiz. 31-0 at halftime. FIU finally gets on the board. FAU still rolling. FIU's trying to get back in it. Too little too late. Florida Atlantic wins 41-28. Florida International does not make it past game one for them.
You're going to get hate. You're going to get social media is going to destroy you about losing to your rival, but you got to put it past.
That was FIU's first ever appearance in a CFB Imperialism game, at least on my channel, because they were not in college football, or NCAA 14, excuse me. They were for a while, but they got replaced by James Madison. FAU with a very good portion of the state of Florida right now. Depending on how the rest of the series goes, they have a pretty good shot at taking over the final parts of the state. North Carolina State will be the next team to play. NC State, they took down East Carolina. Was it last episode or 2 episodes ago? I don't quite remember. They're going to go almost due west. I think that'll take them to Chapel Hill. It will. So we're going to get to see the UNC-NC State rivalry. Tar Heels are an 84 overall. And NC State, they are an 87 overall.
In Chapel Hill, they love to say if the good Lord's not a Tar Heel, why did he make the sky Carolina blue? Glad to have you with us. Kenan Stadium in Chapel.
Here we go. UNC, early 7-0 lead. NC State goes on the board with a field goal. 10-6 going towards halftime. 13-6 at halftime. Carolina leads. 13-9. Lots of field goals in this game. Not a lot of end zone. Both teams get in the end zone near the end, but not quite enough from the Wolfpack. North Carolina wins 20-17 in a bit of an upset.
That's why rivalry games are so great stats and you take the rankings and you take the records,
70th
and you
series
throw it all
win.
out the window. There's always tremendous effort.
Pretty impressive. Oh, I actually wanted to check the stats there. Previous A&M and LSU quarterback Max Johnson transferred to UNC. I don't know if he's going to be the starter or not. I'm really curious. But I'll have to find out later on. Carolina Blue covering most of the state right now. Maybe not most, but at least a good portion. NC State couldn't make it past their first game. We've got 85 teams to go. The next selected will be SMU. I believe SMU can play New Mexico here. They'd also play OU, UNT, and Baylor. The spin is going to take them to New Mexico. All the way out to Albuquerque. Wow. New Mexico, this is the third time we've seen them play in this episode alone. SMU's an 85 overall to New Mexico's 73.
Welcome everyone to University Stadium, home to the Lobos of the University of New Mexico, and the fans here.
Not a whole lot going in the first quarter. UNM kicks a field goal to take a 3-0 lead. Now touchdowns by both teams. SMU takes a 4-point lead at halftime with a touchdown. Now an 11-point lead for the Mustangs. Can New Mexico get back in this for their Cinderella story? Less than a minute to go. Not enough. SMU takes the victory, 21-18. They take down New Mexico and end their run. Mustang blue throughout the West. It was a good story from New Mexico. They took down two teams that are not even in their category. Sadly, short-lived, but it was fun to watch when it happened. SMU now, maybe the largest territory on the board. I'm still thinking Minnesota has the largest. They've got all of Minnesota, half of Iowa, all of Missouri, and half of Tennessee. It was a good little run from UNM. Let's try to get down to 80 teams to go in this video. 84 right now. We got Ole Miss. Ole Miss is gonna play. Where are they going? They could play Minnesota. They won't. They won't play Minnesota. They're gonna go Southwest from the middle of their logo. I'm gonna say that's Arkansas State. Just barely, but I think they're headed to Jonesboro. Real quick, if you're watching the series, if you like the series, please like, comment, subscribe. I read every comment. And we're so close to 1K subs. We're at like 19 more last time I checked. Been working on this goal to get to 1K since I started the channel. That was my first big goal. And we're so close. if you do subscribe, turn on notifications, then you'll be notified when each and every one of my videos are posted. Anyway, we have Ole Miss playing at Arkansas State. Arkansas State's cool because they have fountains. I feel like that's all I hear about Arkansas State. Oh, Arkansas State Stadium has fountains, water fountains. Okay, whatever. I guess we'll get to see those though. Go ahead and make this a night game. Oh, wrong teams. Wrong teams. Arkansas State. There we go. Almost screwed that one up. Ole Miss 88, Arkansas State 79. Let's go with the 6 p.m. kickoff.
Glad to have you with us in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Centennial Bank Stadium, home to the Red Wolves of Arkansas State, and fans have been...
Oh, they do have actual fountains. That's kind of cool. 7-3 at the end of the first quarter. Not a whole lot going on. Ole Miss scores 2 touchdowns to end the first half and 1 to start the second. Arkansas State trying to get back in it, but it's just not enough. Just not enough at all. Then they scored 9 points. 31-9 is the final score. Kind of predictable. You've got the number 5 Ole Miss Rebels playing Arkansas State. So Ole Miss plays in their first game. They win their first game. I kind of expect them to last for a little while. They're in a nice little spot. Border 2 SEC teams, ULM, and Minnesota, as well as UAB. They stay on the map and on the wheel. Red Wolves are eliminated. Next, we've got FAU again. Yeah, we'll have FAU. Where are they going now? They could play UCF, Florida, or Miami. I think at this point, all 3 of those games would be upsets. They're gonna... Well, there's not really anybody to play that direction. That spin sort of goes into the ocean. That one, almost the exact same direction, but maybe that hits UCF. Hold up. It might actually. We're going to go ahead and say that hits this tail end of the UCF territory. So we'll have FAU at UCF. UCF now a Big 12 school. They're also an 84 overall. Florida Atlantic, we've seen them play a couple of times. They're a 77 overall. So this would be another... Well, this would be an upset. Going to the bounce house. I've heard the bounce house needs some renovations. I don't know. Maybe. I've never been there. They also claim this, like, national championship. That's pretty weird. I've never seen them at the top of the CFP poll. I've never seen them make the playoffs either. Somehow UCF is actually one of the largest schools, student body-wise, I believe in the entire country. Which is really strange, I think. FAU 7-0 lead at the end of one. UCF ties it up. Headed towards halftime, and FAU takes a 7-point lead before the halfway mark. End of the third, FAU now a 14-point lead over UCF, who cuts it to an 7.6-point lead. Just not enough, though. FAU takes down UCF, another upset win. They're rolling through their home state. South Florida, FIU, and now UCF have all gone down to the Owls. The entire center portion, they're all hooting. That was really cringe. I can't believe I just said that. I'm sure I've said a lot more cringe things. FAU just kind of chilling right now. Let's get this down to 80. FAU stays, UCF goes. We'll have 2 more games. LSU, they're going to play their first game. They could play Southern Miss or Houston. It will most definitely be Houston. At the Cougs' house, too. Cougs are a 79 overall. Tigers are a 90. We'll see how this goes. TDECU Stadium should be rocking for this one.
Houston, Texas, and the house Bill Yeoman and Andre Ware built, home to the Houston Cougars, where the fans are ready for a liftoff.
Can we see a Houston upset? It's tied 7-all at the end of one. LSU 2 quick touchdowns and a field goal for a 17-point lead at halftime. Houston cuts it to a 10-point lead at the end of the third, but LSU keeps putting on the points. 45-30. That will be the final score. Kind of dominated them, frankly. 15-point win for the Tigers. They've now worked their way into southeastern Texas, as well as the entire southern portion of Louisiana. I believe Louisiana took down Tulane 2 episodes ago, and Houston beat Louisiana last episode, if I remember correctly. I might need to look for some higher res images for some of these team logos. Pretty big win there for LSU. Tigers will remain. Cougs are eliminated. 81 teams to go. Miami, they're going to play FAU. I don't think the spin really matters. They kind of have to play FAU. We'll see what the spin says for kicks. Doesn't matter. They're going to Boca in our final game of the episode. The Hurricanes haven't played a game yet, but they're an 88 overall. Wow. We've seen FAU play a couple of times. They're 77 overall.
Spectacular ocean views not far away from the home of the Florida Atlantic Owls.
I have the feeling Miami's going to win, but if we can see a sweet upset from FAU, I am all for it. They'll start out with a lead by a field goal. Now a 10-0 lead. Miami completely destroys that lead, tying it up 17-all at halftime. They do take a second half lead up by 10. Crazy point swings in this game. 34-17. Wow. Held the FAU scoreless in the second half. Canes got it done when they needed to. They will take over the rest of the state of Florida. Just completely cleaned it up, really. It was a bit of a mess, but we've got Miami and Florida as the final two teams remaining in the entire state. I'll have to go over this outline after I finish the episode, but I believe that is all. Miami stays on the wheel. Florida Atlantic is eliminated. Eventually, it had to be done. We've got 80 teams remaining. This is what the map's looking like. Nothing in the Northeast this episode. Let me try to recap some of it. Oregon beat Oregon State. Fresno beat UNLV. Arizona beat Hawaii. SMU beat New Mexico, who beat Texas Tech, as well as TCU. LSU took down Houston. Ole Miss beat Arkansas State. Auburn took down Georgia State. And Miami beat FAU, who beat FIU, as well as UCF. And then also North Carolina beat North Carolina State. I think that's it. I hope I didn't miss anything. Anyway, again, like, comment, subscribe. Subscribing really helps. It really does. So close to 1K. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Until the next one, peace.